Okay, so I did a little bit of introduction to argument and what argument means in the academic world, right? It's a way to present present our viewpoints. It's a way to have kind of it's a conversation where we present our side, and also there's that element of persuasion where you try to convince other people, not necessarily to buy what you're selling, but certainly to value your viewpoint and accept that it is valid. So I want to go over some kind of key elements that all arguments and positions have. And the first key element is a clear and arguable position or a claim. In other words, for this type of paper, your claim is going to be synonymous with your thesis statement. It's something that it persuades, argues, convinces, or provocatively suggests something to the reader who may or may not initially agree with you. And I'll talk more about developing a thesis statement or a thesis claim for this paper in another lecture. But remember, um, of course, all arguments are going to have a clear, arguable position or a claim. A claim is the single most important part of an academic paper because it's going to define the goals, direction, scope, etc. Of your argument. And it is argumentative because you are arguing for a certain interpretation or understanding of your issue. And it is specific because it makes a focused argument. So, um, I know that you guys have chosen these kind of broad issues to talk about, and the pitfall that a lot of students make is that they want to write on the issue in an expository, informative way rather than making a specific argument about that issue. So before you get kind of knee deep into in writing your argument paper, you want to make sure that you have a clear, specific viewpoint, claim, or argument that you wish to make, rather than saying that, or rather than presenting something that's in the form of an expository paper. So yes, that's all I have to say about that for right now. And remember that there is a difference between opinion and argument. So don't present your claim as an opinion, or present an opinion as a claim, because opinion, remember, is supported by more opinion, and argument has rules, and argument has support from evidence that can be challenged and debated. So claims are substantiated with research, evidence, testimony, and academic reasoning. But more than statement and support, an argument claim also goes on to address the so what question, the implications, and why we should care about it in the first place. So remember, all semester long, I've talked about the importance of so what? Why does it matter? Why should we care? You really have to develop a claim that you're able to develop a proper so what question and answer that question. So, though a claim may be arguable, the best claims are focused, specific, complex, and relevant. So, like I said, we'll come back to talking about how to develop a claim in another smaller lecture. Another key element that all arguments and position papers have is background information. It's essential. I mean, think about it this way. When you guys are writing your topic proposals, that's kind of a place where you look at the context of the current conversation. So, in other words, like I said, all writing is a conversation, and each article that you read is a different person's voice or perspective in that conversation. And background information is essential because you want your audience to understand what's being argued. You want to make sure that your audience has a kind of basis of which to a context to put your voice into that current conversation. It's think about it this way. It's like when you walk into a conversation that two people are having and they ask you for your input or what do you think? And that's putting you in a precarious position because you haven't been there from the beginning of the conversation, so you don't know how to answer what you think. So background information is crucial, and some things that you can use as background information is you can kind of provide a historical context for your issue. You can provide kind of the various different positions that people take on this issue. You can talk about the complexities of the issue, however you want to frame it. In whatever way that makes sense for your specific issue. The important thing is that you've got to kind of provide the context for which you wish, or the framework for which you wish to build your argument. So we said that arguments are different from opinions in that they have logic, they are clear, they make sense. And one way to make sure that your claim is or your argument is logical is to provide good reasons or many subclaims or argumentative points that support your core argument. In other words, your reasons are going to answer the question why. Why accept this claim? So I'm going to write that down here. Answers the question. I can spell, I promise. They answer the question why, because your audience is going to want to know, well, why accept this claim? Well, accept this claim for reason X. Accept this claim for reason Z. Accept this claim for reason B, or whatever it is that you want to say. But you have to provide reasons to your audience, reasons why your claim is a valid one. And they have to be reasons that your audience accepts. And what I mean by that is you can't have these crazy, outlandish, illogical reasons to support your claim. So make sure when you are looking for your reasons, you think about the claim that you want to make, the argument that you want to make, and answer the question why. So censorship of literature causes more harm or has more of a negative impact. Well, why? Well, because when we censor works of literature, we're essentially blocking off a whole world of thought to young adults, and they need to be aware of the world around them, or aware of kind of the world is anyways, I'm not going to get off on my point. My point is you have to answer the question why. And my reason is that because it blocks off an avenue of thought that otherwise they wouldn't have access to. Another example, if you think about reasons, college students should strive to graduate. Well, why should they strive to graduate? Well, because they'll earn more money than those who don't over the course of a lifetime. But more than just asking why and answering the question why, you really want to, in order to get some development, you really want to dig deeper because there's likely a further reason, rule, or principle that underlines the reason that's directly linked to your claim. So college students should strive to graduate. Why? Well, because they'll earn more money. What's the underlying reason to that? Why will they earn more money than those who don't graduate? Well, because the economy values college graduates and pays them more. So you really want to take the time to ask those questions so you can come up with reasons that your audience will accept. In addition to reasons, what do you think the next thing is? Obviously, reasons need convincing evidence or support. You have to support your reasons with evidence. And some examples of evidence includes facts, statistics, things or statements from people in authority, anecdotes, textual examples, any combination of those types of evidence will suffice in order to support your reasons further backing up your claim. So you need proof to both validate your position and to have others get on your side. Just to kind of go over really quickly, facts are ideas that are proven to be true from observations or scholarly research. Statistics are numerical data that should be relevant to your argument and as current as possible so we know that they're as accurate as they can be, and they come from a reliable source like a .gov.edu type of website or from a peer-reviewed scholarly article. And then authorities are experts in your subject, and those authorities should be reliable, trustworthy, and qualified to address the subject. And that's why it's so important to go through in your annotated bibliography and really look at who the author is and what their affiliations and credentials are. Anecdotes are brief narratives that an audience will find believable and contribute directly to your argument. They can be from your own personal experience or they can be narratives of someone else. Scenarios, on the other hand, are what-if situations that describe possible effects or particular actions and offer a new way of looking at a particular state of affairs. Another key element, in addition to those elements of support, those reasons, you have to appeal to the values of your audience. And arguments really depend on that connection with your reader and appealing to those sense of values, because while you may not agree in terms of your claim, there are certain values that we can all share because we're all, at least I think we're all human. But an appeal to values establishes a connection between the reader and yourself, and because they understand that you value what they value, they're more open to your ideas if they think that you value what's important to them, because it helps build this common ground. So, for example, people might disagree on security measures when it comes to the TSA and making sure that people are the stringent security checks when you board an airplane. And some people might say yes, it's something that we need because we want to make sure that another thing like 9/11 doesn't happen again. And other people might say, well, it's really a violation of my privacy, and it's also opens me up to being profiled in a way that makes me uncomfortable. So there are many different facets, many different sides of that coin, but all of those, there's a reason why those things are necessary, and we can all look at the value of wanting to feel safe. I want to feel safe in that my rights are protected, or that I have this right to privacy. Other people would want to feel that they feel safe because they want to make sure that nobody's getting on an airplane that could turn into another situation like 9/11. The common ground here is that we all value our safety, and you want to make sure that you appeal to those values, or the common ground, or the values of your audience who may or may not agree with you. And we'll talk more about this when we talk more about the counterclaim. Another key element is a trustworthy tone, and that's when you really establish yourself with someone with credibility. And we establish a trustworthy tone by demonstrating your knowledge, and I don't mean that you use those crazy, like, I believe, I feel, in my opinion phrases. No, you really establish your credibility by using your sources, using your research. Show your reader that you've done your homework. And another way that establishes a trustworthy tone is when we acknowledge perspectives other than our own. And that also comes down to making sure that you present your sources in a way that is true to their word. You don't want to put words in other people's mouths. But that acknowledgement of other perspectives other than your own goes directly to the counterclaim and acknowledging other viewpoints, because all of these issues, and I dare say most of these issues, are not a matter of right and wrong, black and white. There's more than two ways to see these various issues that you guys are writing on, and a lot of times you can agree with one thing and disagree with another and come up with your own sort of viewpoint or perspective on an issue. I digress. But like I said, there's more than one viewpoint on any given subject, and you want to make sure that those viewpoints are represented fairly and accurately. And by doing that, it strengthens your claim, and it shows that you've considered the possible objections and researched your topic thoroughly. So you're saying, okay, I know what all the sides of the pancake are. Not that there's only two sides to a pancake, but I know what all the sides of the pyramid are, and I still believe in the position that I hold dear to because in whatever your reasons are. So it shows that you've really researched and thoroughly thought about your topic. And I want to stop here because this leads into our counterclaim, which we will talk about next week. So these are just a few things when discussing, or these are just a few of the elements that you need when writing a argumentative paper. And I wanted to talk about these so you could look at the things that you're going to need when compiling your argument. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'm sorry that I went over 15 minutes. I'm going to stop here. So let me know if you have any questions, and yeah, let me know.